Okay, on this one here, it wants you to find the 6 trig ratios. And remember, when you say 6, I thought there's only 3. Well, there's 3 for angle A, and there's 3, or we can call it alpha, and angle B or beta. So we're going to have to remember SOHCAHTOA, sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. So we have to remember those ones there. So I'm going to leave them at the top. And let's start. We'll start with alpha here. Okay, so we need sine alpha, cosine alpha, and tangent alpha. And the key with that is we need to label our sides. So across from alpha, so this is the hypotenuse right there. Across from alpha is the opposite, and beside alpha is the adjacent. Okay, so we know that, and now the problem is, what is the hypotenuse? Well, it's 3 squared plus 4 squared, because it's a right triangle, equals the question mark squared. And when you do all that work, you get question mark equals 5. So we know the hypotenuse is 5 now. So we should have everything. So this one is opposite over hypotenuse, which is, the opposite is 3. The hypotenuse we just figured out is 5. Okay? The cosine of alpha is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the adjacent is 4. And we already said the hypotenuse is 5. Okay? And the tangent of alpha is opposite over adjacent. We already got opposite is 3. Adjacent is 4. Okay, so we've done that one. So let's erase all that out. We still have to do beta. Okay, so let's do that right now. Okay, so we'll get rid of some of these red marks. Okay, so let's change it. We're going to change it to, I'll do these one in blue. Okay, so again, if we're at beta here, this is still the hypotenuse, and it still equals 5. We know that from last time. The opposite of it is 4, and the adjacent is 3. So let's do sine beta is opposite over hypotenuse, so 4 over 5. The cosine of beta is adjacent over hypotenuse, and adjacent is 3, and hypotenuse is 5. And the tangent of beta is opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be 4 over 3. And so you're going, well, whoop-de-doo. Well, here's one thing to note. If you what happened was the hypotenuse stays the same. That's why it's the most important one to find. But you can switch opposite and adjacent depending on whether you're using A or B. So it changes depending on which angle. Well, what that does is it causes the sine of one angle to be the cosine of the other angle in the right triangle, and the cosine of one angle is the sine of the other angle if they're in the same right triangle. And what you see is it flipped. The 3 flipped to the ground, to the bottom, to 4, and 4 went back up top, and that became the other one. So when opposite and adjacent flip, there's some flipping going on. This is called the reciprocal. So the tangents are just reciprocals of each other, and then the cosine and sines have the same values, but they switch positions. That's important to note that.